Hi there and welcome to DocTalk. I'm Dr. Dan Thomson. I'm sure glad you joined us. We're going to have a great show today. A friend and colleague of mine, Dr. Casey Olson, is going to join me. We're going to talk about feeding cows through the wintertime. Stay tuned.
Closed captioning brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress, powered by Kansas farmers. This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine. Your stem cells, your health, your life.
Hi there and welcome to DocTalk. I'm Dr. Dan Thomson here from the College of Veterinary Medicine. I'm joined today by Dr. Casey Olson, who is a ruminant nutritionist over in the Animal Science and Industries Department, and he's a professor here at Kansas State University. And thanks for coming.
Oh, you bet, Dan. Always a pleasure.
It's great to have you on the show. It's always a topic that's, something that we're interested in and something that really hits the bottom line of the producers. And today, with the drought and different things, there's probably nothing much more important to a lot of cattlemen than how we're going to get these cows fed through the winter.
I'd agree. I mean, even in the best of winters, the time between the first of the year and roughly the 1st of May is where we spend 90% of our nutrition dollar. And in this year, going into a winter where we're short with forage following a drought that many have called the worst drought in 500 years here in the Flint Hills, we're up against the wall.
Now, I've been out driving countryside and just seeing some of these pastures look like the top of this countertop, and you just wonder, how are we going to, get through this? What are some of the things that go through your mind?
Well, the first thing I think of when I see one of those pool table pastures is that most of the producers, unfortunately, are thinking about stocking grazable forages for a 6 to 7 month grazing season only. And then they're relying on harvested forages to get them through the winter. It's a fact, folks, that those harvested forages carry a significant price tag, and it's very difficult to get a high input, low capital return kind of business like a cow-calf enterprise to cash flow efficiently when harvested forages have to be relied on for half of the year.
So, So if you're buying it and hauling it in, really increase our cost.
Yeah, it's sort of like beef cow welfare. That cow was designed to harvest her own feed. She's designed to graze, and when we take her out of that grazing environment, we confine her for a period of time. We set ourselves up for a pretty big feed bill.
Yeah, when we talk about it in welfare, we're talking about the ability to exhibit normal behavior.
Well, that's a good way to put it. I never thought of it that way, but that makes a lot of sense, Doc.
So, what are when we're heading into this winter time? What are some of the things give me the first thing that pops in your mind and you're going to look at in operation to design the program? Do
you mind if we talk about this year specifically? Where we are droughty and we're short of forage?
I'd be glad to. We're going to have to go to the break here in about a little bit, but how will we get started to go ahead into the break? What are we going to come back with?
When we come back, folks, I'd like to talk to you about how we've managed this drought and how we're going to manage our winter feeding scenario at the K-State Cow-Calf Unit.
Well, again, great to have you on the show. We're going to discuss feeding the cows here in wintertime. We're going to talk about how Dr. Olson and his crew do it and handle it. And there's what you said, the wrong way and the right way, or the expensive way and the affordable way.
That's right.
Appreciate y'all joining us on the show. We'll be right back after the break.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
Broadband has become as important to us as highways. That is why DocTalk is teaming up with NTCA, the Rural Broadband Association, and rural broadband companies like Blue Valley Telecommunications in fighting for quality broadband access through the program Smart Rural Communities.
I don't think we have any idea what's coming in the future. I couldn't have imagined 5 years ago what we're doing today. So in 2 years, I would guess there's things we can't imagine that we're going to be doing.
To learn more, visit ntca.org/smart or bluevalley.net.
Tallgrass Commodities offers producers bulk commodities at a reasonable price with reliable service throughout the whole Midwest. To find out more about Tallgrass Commodities, visit tallgrass.us or call 785-494-8484.
Watch Ag AM in Kansas online at agaminkansas.com. DocTalk, brought to you by Santa Fe Trail Meats in Overbrook, or visit us online at sftmeats.com.
Hi there and welcome to Doc Talk. I'm Dr. Dan Thomson, joined by Dr. Casey Olson. We're both from Kansas State University, and we're talking about drought management or winter feed management. And y'all have a program that you use here when you manage the cow herd outside of Manhattan.
That's a fact. We have a cow herd here that's for teaching and research, and in order to justify the existence of that cow herd, it has to cash flow. And we're very cognizant of the money that we put into that cow herd every year, and we're a little bit peculiar in as much as we run to about 80% rented land. It means we have to put high emphasis on landowner relations, and we have to take good care of those pastures that we lease.
You bet.
Now, we have a written drought management plan that we abide by, just like the Ten Commandments. It's based on accumulated rainfall at several critical calendar dates during the year. It's also based on forage growth on those critical calendar dates. Now, when we don't meet either one of those targets for a given date, we don't have enough rain, we don't have enough forage, we know that we have to start adjusting our stocking rate downward. Now, the whole goal of doing this, folks, is to make sure that we have enough winter grass to get us through until green up in the spring. Now, we've had to make some significant cuts in stocking rate over the last 4 months. Some of the things that we did, we weaned early, about August 15th. We got rid of some yearling heifers to bring our stocking rate down, and then we started to cut into that mature cow herd a little bit. Our inventory is down by about 60 mature cows as a result of this drought. But having that written plan and having a marketing plan attached to each one of those stocking rate reductions, we got through it in pretty decent financial shape. And we're left with enough grass now to accommodate our winter feeding program.
It's awesome stuff. So basically, throughout the year, you're taking moisture analysis of how much moisture is hitting these pastures, what that's going to contribute to growth within the pastures. And then from there, I think the strategy thing is something that really hit home with me. You know, the weaning early, looking at the mature cows and making some, you can't just keep borrowing.
No, you can't. And the one person or the one entity you really can't borrow from is Mother Nature. If you misuse your natural resources, folks, it's going to bite you. That's a simple fact of resource management.
May have to tell that to some of our legislators.
Oh, where are you going with this, Doc?
Anyway, it's when we some of the things that what happens when we get behind the eight ball. I mean, it may be something that'll take us into the next break, but sometimes we don't want to sell the cows, and we don't have the grass.
The only option really at that point for reduction of grazing pressure is destocking and feeding. And folks, that's probably the most expensive drought management mitigation strategy that there is. But the one thing it will do is buy you time to kind of think through the situation and discuss your options. Many folks, for example, right now are using silage for the very first time because failed corn crops, failed sorghum crops are finding their way into silage pits right now.
Cool. After the break, we're going to discuss more about winter feeding management with Dr. Olson.
The BQA Tip of the Day, sponsored by Beringer Engelheim Vetmedica, Inc.
I'm Dr. Kip Lukasevich with Production Animal Consultation. Today's BQA Tip of the Day is proper storage of micronutrients. So today at the feed yard we're at, what we have here is we have our micro ingredients such as rumensin, our Thailand in the feed, our micro minerals such as Vela4 and so forth that are going to go into the micro machine. We just have to understand that when we store these ingredients is that we never store them next to insecticides or other chemicals that are not to be in the feed. These things have to be stored by themselves and in an area that is dry, temperature sensitive, and has humidity control as well. When we feed these things or put these things into the micro machine, just make sure from a safety standpoint that we utilize dust masks, gloves, so we don't get them on our skin, because sometimes they can be very sensitive, as well as just inhaling the product because they are very small in size and the dust can get into your lungs and so forth. So just use dust masks, use gloves, and then always store them properly.
This Meet the Future Veterinarian is brought to you by Zuprevo. Choose confidence. Choose Zuprevo for BRD treatment. Rebecca Calder was recently awarded an AmStut scholarship. She grew up in Vermont and fell in love with cows at the age of 5. In high school, she spent a weekend with a veterinarian and knew her future was sealed. In college, she received an internship at the Plum Island Animal Disease Center. Rebecca hopes to work in a dairy or mixed animal practice in the Northeast after graduation. Buying a car shouldn't be this hard. And at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, it isn't. It's actually awesome. Whether you want a new or used car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. Even if you want to custom order a new car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. See Toby's team at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego. We're awesome.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
No matter where, no matter why, the Veterinary Health Center at Kansas State University is committed to providing quality patient care to animals and exceptional customer service to their owners. From routine checkups to emergency and specialty care, our world-renowned specialists and experienced professionals are here to discover, to teach, and to heal.
Let us know.
How can I help?
How can we help?
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information. DocTalk, brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, Progress, powered by Kansas farmers.
Welcome back to DocTalk. I'm Dr. Dan Thomson, joined by Dr. Casey Olson. And Dr. Olson is a ruminant nutritionist over in the Department of Animal Science here at Kansas State University, and he's a professor. But one of the things that you do that hit home with me in the previous segment is that you not only manage our teaching and research cow herd, commercial cow herd, but you have to manage it as if you were an outside operation. I mean, you're balancing a budget and paying the bills.
That's true.
So,
I mean, it's very difficult to justify to a taxpayer that we get to have a cow herd just to play with and enjoy.
Yeah,
okay?
exactly.
It's our responsibility to make that cow herd profitable.
You bet. And I think that's what makes your research so relevant and different from most.
It's flattering.
And it's awesome. And so let's talk about how you go about feeding these cows through the winter.
Sure.
Cow supplementation and things of that nature.
Well, as I've said before, our winter feeding program is always based on dormant native range here in the Flint Hills of Kansas. In most years, not including this one, forage is typically very abundant but of very low quality. Just as an example, TDN value is usually in the low 40s, and protein value is usually below 5% crude protein. Now, the beef cow is our primary marketing vehicle in the United States for low quality forages. Just because forage quality is bad doesn't mean that we can't use it.
Right.
Research that was done when I was a graduate student here at K-State, and even before that, looked at, can we supply nutrients in concentrated small amounts to the rumen that will enable a beef cow to use that low-quality forage effectively? My predecessor, Dr. Bob Cochran, who is one of the greatest ruminant nutritionists of all time, he figured out through a wonderful series of studies that if we can deliver to a beef cow an average of about 1 pound of crude protein per day, that we can triple her intake of that low-quality forage and we can double its energetic value. And it's really a trick of ruminal physiology. Okay, the rumen is short on nitrogen. We supply a little bit of nitrogen, and that enables the ruminal microbes to tear down that forage and make a good diet out of it.
So you're putting the bugs to work. You're gonna use what the good Lord in Detroit designed these animals to do.
And coincidentally, folks, it happens to be a very cost-effective winter nutrition program. We're getting the most out of our leased pastures. We are converting a forage resource of modest utility into something that's good enough to actually accrue body condition on a beef cow through the winter.
And probably the most important thing is it allows us to stay in business.
It does.
When you start thinking about the cost savings, what are some of the higher end supplement protein programs running some people?
Well, there are a lot of supplements out there that carry a very high price tag per unit of protein purchased. A lot of self-fed supplements would fit into this category. When we return from the breakdown, I think we can maybe talk about delivery strategies for supplemental protein and ways to make that even less expensive for a commercial operator.
Cool. Appreciate y'all joining us on the show. We'll be right back after the break.
Watch Ag AM in Kansas online at agaminkansas.com.
Hello, I'm Dr. Frank Lyons from Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center here in Manhattan, Kansas. Daryl was one of our patients that we did about 7 months ago.
I dug trees by hand for years and years and years. In the process, I wore out my rotator cuff. But when I learned about this process, I thought if there's a way to get rid of this pain, then I want to do it. So we did it, and it worked. And I'm not going to go out and dig trees with a shovel anymore, but I can do the things that I want to do now.
Well, it's been very gratifying to help people with their painful joints and other entities. And it's been especially gratifying to be able to help people who I know and have worked with and known for many years.
Here's another gardening tip with Annette Jackson from Jackson's Greenhouse.
Fall is a great time to plant perennials, trees, shrubs, and bulbs. Root development occurs with the moist and cool soil conditions, which means better growth next year with less watering and maintenance. The use of mulch on all plantings helps protect from freezing, thawing, and drying out. Let Jackson's help with your next plant.
Jackson's top quality fall bulbs for spring blooming have arrived. Always plant the best bulbs for bigger, better blooms.
Jackson's Greenhouse has what you need today. Healthy cows start with the new hired hand automatic livestock sprayer. Rancher invented to provide an efficient alternative to pour-on and injectable parasite management systems. The portable design allows cattle to treat themselves head to hoof. Strategic device placement with pass-through activation technology takes the stress out of parasite treatment for cattle and the rancher. Get the new hired hand for yourself or become a distributor. Visit cowsprayer.com. The new hired hand makes healthy cows easy.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or for more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to DocTalk. Dr. Dan Thomson here with Dr. Casey Olson. We're talking about winter cow nutrition programs. And Casey, you want to talk to us about supplementation strategy, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, in the previous segment, I mentioned that our magic formula here in the Flint Hills is to deliver an average of about 1 pound of crude protein to a cow per day during the winter, and that enables her to effectively use our low-quality native forage. There are some tricks to make that even more effective. First off, the rumen does not require daily delivery of protein to be fully functional. We've discovered over time, again, through previous research here at Kansas State, that we can deliver protein on an alternate day basis, on a 3-day per week basis, or even a 2-day per week basis,
wow,
as long as we hit an average of 1 pound of protein per day. And when you talk about cutting the number of trips down to the pasture to feed cows by half, you're really talking about significant savings in terms of equipment wear and tear, fuel, and man hours.
Oh, so which ones of these is probably the most common supplementation delivery time?
Well, what we like at the cow-calf unit at Kansas State is a delivery interval of between Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, or Monday and Thursday, depending on the group of cows and depending on their requirements, and also depending a little bit on the nature of the supplement. Now, that protein source that you choose, folks, should be chiefly ruminally degradable. There are 2 types of protein, really, that we feed to beef cows. One form is ruminally degradable. The other is degradable in the small intestine. It's important. Bypass protein.
Yep.
It's important to choose a source that has a rich component of ruminal degradability. Now, in this particular feed market, where all protein sources are very expensive, I mean, when producers are out there merchandising their ingredients, when they're considering a purchase, I encourage them to put those potential purchases on a dry matter basis, to remove water from the equation, and also to figure out then on a dry matter basis what your purchase price is per pound of protein in that ton of feed or that truckload of feed. That is your path to least costing your protein supplement.
Well, I think it's some of the best information. One of the most relevant shows. We talked about nitrates this year and that, but we still have to feed these cows.
We do. The nice thing about grazing through the winter, folks, on a native forage source or a perennial forage source is that nitrates are generally not a worry. Now, for those of you out there that might be considering using a corn derivative as a winter forage source, be aware of those nitrates and be aware of prussic acid. Test your forages, folks. Don't make a mistake that will cause you regret.
Thank you for being on the show.
You're welcome, Dan. It's always a pleasure.
Dr. Casey Olson, Dr. Dan Thomson. And thank you for watching Doc Talk. Remember, we always recommend that you work with your local veterinarian and your local nutritionist. And if you want to learn more about what we do at Kansas State University or at the College of Veterinary Medicine, you can find us on the web at www.vet.ksu.edu. I'm Dr. Dan Thomson from Doc Talk. We sure enjoyed you watching the show today, and I'll see you down the road.
Closed captioning brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff Progress, powered by Kansas farmers. To see this show and past episodes of Ag AM in Kansas, go online to agamandkansas.com.